Okay, so 2 years of knowing you here in the Gold Coast Cafe was born in 2021, correct?
The cafe officially opened October 15th, 2022.
2022.
Yeah, 2021 was when I made the decision to take the deli out of the market and separate the two businesses because at some point I knew I was going to step away from the Gold Coast market.
So, I mean, I know I've asked you like a bunch of times of the Gold Coast Cafe of like why I was born and then started the Gold Coast Market from an idea to
Yeah.
actually a reality now, right?
Yeah.
I want to ask you what the Gold Coast Cafe, what is the vision for it though? Because it's already a couple years old, so you
Yeah.
know the market's changing.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'll tell you, the story of why I started the cafe, and then, we'll get into like the bigger picture. So, I moved back to Chicago almost exactly 5 years ago today. It actually might be 5 years ago exactly today.
Wow.
I was living in Scottsdale for the winter of 2019, going into 2020, and then COVID happened. And I think March 15th of 2020 was the official lockdowns that were announced. And so I just moved back a few days before that. And when I moved back to Chicago, with the lockdowns, there was really nothing going on. No one was working, just like locked up in our homes. And eventually I started the Gold Coast Market because it was an essential business.
Mm.
And I wanted to, I enjoy making money. I enjoy working. And the only business that was allowed to stay open was essential businesses, which is the Gold Coast Market kind of business concept. So I started that in February of 21.
Mm.
So it took me about a year to 8 months to get it open when I made the decision to do it.
How did
And
you picture the cafe though?
well, so I had the deli inside there. And I remember, for religious reasons, my family would consistently talk to me about, getting out of the liquor business. And it was just like something that I just got in just for a quick flip, and whatnot. And my brother, he's like a year younger than me, he was like, why don't you just take the deli out, put it across the street, and just keep the deli and sell the market.
Mm.
And at first, I was given a lot of pushback because I wanted to at least like reap some of the rewards that like and enjoy like some of the success of the market at the time. But the business got more challenging, and it's just the business wasn't for me. So I did make that decision to separate the businesses, and I brought the cafe across the street. But originally, it was a deli. It was Gold Coast Deli. Cafe wasn't even like a thing. And I think kind of like a last minute thing. This was like in maybe April of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I want to change it to cafe. And my brother was like, why? I was like, I just feel like coffee is going to be the future.
Mm.
People are going to start drinking less alcohol, and they're going to just want to consume more caffeine. And I, renamed the business Gold Coast Cafe. I branded it, and I opened officially October 15th. And, we're in March 2025. So almost 3 years in business. It's been a rocky road.
Mm.
I've seen a lot of success, and I've struggled a lot. And but I've learned so much from this business. Similar to like the Gold Coast Market, I had no idea what I was doing because I didn't drink.
Mm.
I didn't know anything about alcohol. But I'm a quick learner, so I learned as much as I needed to learn to be able to just, get through it. And I felt like, that if I'm able to apply those skills to a business that, like a Gold Coast Market, then I can do the same thing for me at the Gold Coast Cafe where, I don't have partners.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't drink coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker. Never was. I don't like the taste of coffee. But people love coffee.
Mm.
So yeah, that's kind of like how I started it. And I just, got into the cafe business, and I learned how to make espressos. I sucked at it in the beginning, and I probably lost a lot of business in the beginning. because I don't think people like understood that. Like I'm just kind of like going with the flow and just trying to figure this out as I go.
Right.
But I'm hoping that the people that have tried us out in the beginning obviously will give us a second chance, and maybe this video will be a good way of just like reaching out to people to come out and come back and support.
It's remarkable too of what you've done here. And I want to ask you this though, because
Yeah.
I mean, knowing you, like, right, I'm going to be biased. You're very humble, but very optimistic about all the opportunities, right? Going through the cafe and well, the deli converted to the cafe. What in your mind did you think, I want to touch this market in the city of Chicago? Because there's a lot of cafes, a lot of family owned businesses, but I honestly feel like when you get here into the cafe, you get a different touch than any other spot in the city.
Yeah, there's a special energy here,
Mm.
a very special spiritual energy here too. Um, and I think that a lot of people that do come spend time here and hang out here, they feel that vibe, and and it's a good feeling. So yeah, there's a lot of competition in the area. I've seen competition come and go. I've seen big companies come and go.
Mm.
I mean, we're gonna have new competition across the street here pretty soon. But for me, I think what drives me the most is competition. I think competition is good. It's healthy, and it brings the best out of people.
Mm.
And I'll give you like an example. I read this article the other day about Coca-Cola and Pepsi, which is like probably one of the biggest rivalries in soda industry, right?
Well, now they're going to be competing with
Salam Cola.
Salam Cola because this is actually really delicious right here. Sugar
Yeah,
free
yeah.
too as well for the health nuts.
Seriously, no sugar. That's what it says on there.
Energy too. It's actually good
Yeah.
branding. But yeah.
So yeah, so I read this article that there was a high level executive at Pepsi
Hmm.
quit, and this person took the Pepsi recipe and tried to sell it to Coca-Cola. And just reading this article, Coca-Cola, instead of taking the recipe, they reported it to the FBI right away
Wow.
because they believe that, hey, as much as like we're competitors, we would never want to like do shady business where we like cut them, go under them, or try to like destroy their business by doing like some sneaky stuff.
Right.
So and they said that like competition is good, that they enjoy being in competition with Pepsi, and it keeps them on their toes, and it keeps them competitive, and it keeps them always experimenting and trying new things to help advance their business.
Mm.
And so for me, I see the same thing here at Gold Coast Cafe, that if there's no competition, sometimes we get comfortable,
Mm.
and I don't like to be comfortable sometimes, or most times really. I like to always be challenged and tested. I'm a very resilient person. I'm very patient,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a lot of trust in God, in Allah, and I believe that like my success is already written, and I just have to maintain my integrity in my relationship with my God, and also just do the right things every day, and I will win. My struggles have only made me better at this business.
Mm-hmm.
And just like any small business owner, we have our ups and downs, but a lot of the competitions that you see
Mm.
are, a lot of them. I mean, I can't speak too much on them because I don't know, but for me, I'll speak on me, right? I don't even want to speak on them. My business will be a business will be a franchise.
Mm.
I will have tens and twenties and hundreds of locations, if not thousands, at some point
Mm-hmm.
in the future. My plan and my vision is never just one location. This was just like the concept, the idea of what I wanted to do, and just to build the formula through this location. Whether I'm in this location forever, for another 7 years, whatever. But my plan is to build the reputation, build the brand, build the menu up, so that way I can scale it. So it's kind of like, think of like a Potbelly's slash Jimmy John's meets like a Dunkin' Donuts slash Starbucks, and you merge them together.
Mm.
You have affordable food,
Right.
you have affordable drinks. It's for the everyday American, everyday consumer. It's the saying that America runs on Dunkin'. We're gonna change that, and America will run on Gold Coast Cafe
I like that.
because we use premium quality beans for our coffee. We partnered up with Tabib Roasters, and they source their beans from Colombia and Jamaica.
Mm.
And when I tell you that the quality of their beans for someone that doesn't drink coffee, I mean, I could smell the quality. I've tried it,
Mm-hmm.
and if I'm able to compare the difference between other brands that I've used, and even customers to notice the difference
Right.
between the taste and the flavor, that's how I know that we're headed in the right direction. And it's just really just figuring out like the right ingredients, the right brands, the right partnerships, everything. And that's where my confidence lies because I have the time and I have the patience to figure it out.
Well, let me tell you this, the brand's already there, but when a customer comes in here in the Gold Coast, what is your plan and goal for them to leave out of here so they can tell their friends? It's like on like social media when you share it to a reel, that's how it go viral. So
Yeah.
you want the best experience for your customer, which is of course like I'm
Yeah.
speaking as a customer,
Yeah.
phenomenal. But what is the approach for Gold Coast to leave your customer with?
Well, I want them to leave with an experience of like, something that they probably won't experience anywhere else. And that's, the hospitality, the friendliness of myself and the staff,
Mm-hmm.
the quality,
Mm.
and for the price. And so, we're your fast, casual American deli cafe. And when you come in here, you're going to be greeted by myself and every employee. You're going to, receive fast service. So if you're in a hurry and you got to get to work,
Mm-hmm.
you can just come in and grab and go.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to come sit and dine in, there's comfortable seating. If you want to sit and study, we're working on that comfort for people that want to study.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that I'm still learning as I go with this business, but I want them to experience something that they've never experienced when they come in here, and especially being like a small business where it's an owner operator, so
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get a different type of vibe than when you go into a business that has just a bunch of employees. We're a small family-owned business. I feed and provide for my family through here. And I also like to provide great service for the customers, and I like to make them feel like they're part of my family.
I like that. And also too, like you said, the collaborations with different, not just with the coffee, everything that I see here around the area, it's all business owned, like locally.
Yeah,
And it's not like your big names there. You might have like a Coca-Cola there, a Pepsi there. But like I said, how do you, and I feel like this is what makes you different in all of the cities, just having
yeah.
different types of brands here. What is your approach with these collaborations? Like, how
Yeah.
do you plan to expand that?
So, well, I come from a middle class family. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, which
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with money like most people. My family struggled throughout our life, but they've always provided. And you know, I was never given an opportunity by anybody unless it benefited them in a way. So I always had to earn everything. I didn't finish school, so I didn't have a degree to fall back on. So, growing up on the south side of Chicago, just roaming the streets and hanging out with my friends and just doing what we did back then, wasn't the path that I wanted to continue as far as my life and for the future of my life. And so I had to hustle, I had to work, I had to grind. I have to put in like 16, 17-hour shifts almost every day till this day. Every now and then, like, a few days a week, I'll get breaks. I'll go home, take a 1 or 2 hour nap, and come right back to work to work the night shift.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to work really hard to build this brand. And you've been there from day one.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it. You've
Mm-hmm.
seen it from transition from the Gold Coast market, from when I introduced you to the Nelk Boys, because that was like around the time that we first met,
Yeah. Yeah.
to where we're at today. We're doing a podcast.
You gotta hustle either way. You
Lot
gotta
of
do it,
work.
man.
Got to pay the bills, man.
Gotta do it, man.
So yeah. So anyways, yeah. So I find these like small brands, and I like to like give them an opportunity to, you know, be in a position with me because I know where I'm taking this company,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to look for specific like types of businesses that are small owner operated businesses, and you know, and as I scale the company, I want them to be a part of that.
Uh-huh.
So you know, it'll be part of the story in the very near future, and you know, and these are great companies, man, great people that own them. I mean, Tabib Roasters are very good friends, family friends. They are very hands on with their business. They fly out themselves to go source the beans, and
Mm.
you know, I like hands-on people, and they're very hands-on. And Salam Cola is a great company. They do a lot of great things in my community, and you know, and I like to support people that do good things for humanity and just people in general. You know, so you know, I'm very picky on the businesses that I work with, and but and it doesn't matter the size. You know, it could be a big company or a small company. But I prefer, you know, like small startups. They're just, you know, a lot more fun to work with because they're so hands on. Like the owners, like my friend Brennan with EcoStar.
Yeah.
You know, he's my water sponsor. We work with him, and you know, as I scale the company, you know, we'll have EcoStar at all of our locations. Tabib Roasters, you know, like Gold Coast Cafe will be known as having the best coffee in Chicago and maybe across the country because of the beans that we use, which is from Tabib Roasters, and so many more other cool brands. I mean, I work with she's an amazing baker.
Uh-huh.
Her name is Sabrina. So she bakes all my cookies. She bakes my puddings. She is the reason why I have my specialty latte ingredients.
Mm.
She has provided me with an opportunity to be able to sell like the Dubai chocolate lattes, the cardamom date lattes, the lotus biscoff lattes, and the guava latte
So what are your top three cafe lattes that you recommend? The first people to come in right here. First
right
three
now.
lattes. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, my top three sellers are the cardamom date, the Dubai chocolate, and the lotus biscoff.
Okay.
And my between lotus and biscoff and Dubai chocolate, those two are probably like the top two sellers right now. Now, outside of those two, the specialty lattes,
Uh-huh.
our strawberry matcha latte, fire. I mean, I don't even like, I've never drank matcha until like I started making it here.
Right, right, right.
And I didn't like it in the beginning because it tastes like grass. But
Earth.
once I added like the strawberry and I figured out how to do the mixes. Shout out to Instagram for sharing a lot of recipes with me.
Uh,
My whole algorithm, when you go on my For You page on Instagram, on the Gold Coast Cafe page, it's just all matchas.
recipes.
It's just different kinds of matchas, and I just like experiment and try. And I have amazing baristas that like, you know, are really good at what they do, and
Right.
you know, they perfect it for me.
So your recipes are your own recipes, right? You just make them up, and then you make them, create them, and then put them on the menu.
Well, you know, I mean, I take a lot of the recipes like from Instagram.
Right, right, right.
Like I find recipes online. And I've reached out to like some cafes like across the country, across the world.
Uh-huh.
And I've asked, hey, do you mind sharing this recipe? I mean, you're like 3,000 miles away from me, so we're not competing.
Yeah, yeah.
But like on the specialty lattes, those are my recipes.
Uh-huh.
But those were shared with me with Sabrina Sweets.
Okay.
So she made the ingredients, and so we have a partnership together on that. So you know, without her, I wouldn't have those specialty lattes. And
That's
I
it.
tried to get them, you know, even before I've interacted with her, and she was so kind and generous enough to, you know, create the recipe and share it with me, which really made a big impact for my business and helped me out a lot. And I'm very grateful and appreciative for Sabrina Sweets.
And for the sandwiches too, you have a long list of sandwiches here at the cafe.
Yeah, yeah. I've been consolidating. So, one of my friends, he has a dealership right here downtown, and we had a conversation this past summer, and he was like, you know, simplify the menu,
Uh,
have just a few key items on there for the food, so that way you don't overwhelm people too much. So I've narrowed it down to my top like four signature sandwiches, and
mm,
then I still have my Philly steak and chicken wrap, and then I have three Mexican items. So I have like the taco dinner, the burrito dinner, and the quesadilla dinner.
oof.
My signature sandwiches were actually the ingredients were given to me by the Super Bowl chef.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so the chef that cooks for like the Super Bowl,
Super Bowl, yeah.
he flew out to Chicago and he gave me the ingredients and basically blessed me with them.
What's in?
That's why the sandwiches taste so good. And I was like, man, how? I mean, it's from a Super Bowl chef. That's why they're so good.
Jeez, man. I see the list is so huge, and so I mean, dude, it tastes delicious as well. With the ingredients and all that's halal, of course. Everything here is halal.
Everything is halal. Um, I recently switched to everything halal maybe about 3 months ago, and honestly, that's been like another great success to my business. We have our certification from our distributor.
Okay.
We don't get it directly from like a farm. So we still like shop from our distributors and they provide us with our certification for all the ingredients that we get from them.
Boar heads, right?
No, we don't use boar heads. That's who we used to use before. Boar heads not halal.
Okay.
It's just different brands of like there's a variety of different brands that we
Okay.
use. It's not one single brand anymore. When we first originally opened, we did use boar's head, but as we transitioned to halal, we completely got rid of them and yeah, and we switched everything to halal and man, alhamdulillah, everything has been amazing since then and the quality has gotten so much better. And for me, like I was never someone that cared about the difference between halal and not halal.
Uh,
Uh, but after switching my entire restaurant to halal food,
you taste the difference,
oh
man.
my God. I mean, I don't think I could eat anything that's not halal anymore.
Coming from a Mexican guy that eats like straight, like just food like that, tasting halal, it's more juicier, or I don't know, more alive, more organic,
It
or
just
something.
feels like
Real.
cleaner and it
Yeah.
feels fresh. It feels healthy. It feels right.
Makes you breathe colors. Like it's
Yeah.
actually different
Like
too.
you
It's a
see colors.
yeah, it's like a different type of vibe. But also too, like, how do you diverse your food too with vegetarian and veggies? Because it's the city of Chicago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now vegans are coming out, vegetarians. It's what makes it different too. You have some on the menu too,
Yeah.
right?
I have our Clark Street, which is the street that our cafe, one of our intersections that we're located on. Our Clark Street is a veggie wrap. It's a spinach and herb wrap with a hummus spread,
Uh-huh.
lettuce, tomatoes, avocados, roasted red peppers, and cucumbers.
Oh wow.
And that's one of our very popular sandwiches, and it's one of our only veggie sandwiches or vegan sandwiches on the menu. But the cool thing is that we do offer a build your own option.
Mm-hmm.
So people can come in here and create whatever they want. I've seen people create amazing things. I feel like I'm doing like the Trump thing right now. I've seen people create amazing things and then by building their own sandwiches, which I've actually have run promotions on. Like the Philly steak on a croissant.
Uh-huh.
I was like, yo, this actually pretty dope. Like this sounds good, tastes good. And I've sold a lot of them like that. And people have the option to alter the menu items. They can modify things how they want. They can remove things, add things. They can substitute whatever. We're for the consumers. We want people to be satisfied with what they order. So if there's something on my menu that you don't like, or there's an ingredient that you don't like, you just tell us to take it out or switch it out with something else,
All right.
and we will. And we just want to make sure that you have the perfect experience when you dine in with us or you take out with us.
That's phenomenal. Also, to the vibe in here. So I see couches here, like where we're sitting. Like there's a little, like a fake grass in the back, couches, but also picnic tables, and then the vibe, and then the lights, right?
Yeah.
So it makes you feel like at home,
Yeah.
but also it makes sure too. It's just like you're getting the nice sunlight from the outside the city.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have a beautiful view out here.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of big windows. You can see the John Hancock Tower. We're right like down the street from it. One Chicago, the Aurelian, Bush Temple, all these like beautiful historical buildings and modern buildings. So I used to live around the corner. I had a beautiful view over, looking the entire skyline. And my wife, when she designed like our interior, she made everything silver.
Yeah.
Our entire furniture, you remember, everything was just silver.
That's dope.
And you saw some maybe blue in there too. And I knew that when I opened this location, this store, I knew that I was gonna spend a lot of time in here. And I just wanted it to feel that like I was still at home to an extent without my PlayStation 5 and Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted it to feel like homey for me at least, you know. So like when I'm sitting here all day or working all day, I'm not getting bored or and I'm not like
Right.
exhausted. Like it feels right for me. And you know, this is I spend more time here than I do at home. I spend more time here than I do with my family. And I think that, you know, it's part of, you know, my business and how I want people to see it. Like I want them to feel that home vibe. I don't want them to feel like they're at a cafe.
I agree with that too. Why? Because the multiple times I've done the podcast here, but not even just a podcast. There's been creators that come here and do little skits, right? And on
Yeah.
top of that, last week you had you had a DJ set here,
Yeah.
like in the 10 a.m. in the morning. It was packed. So like I'm probably gonna pop up a reel of all this place was packed with the DJ booth here. So with that, you're saying that you don't want it to just be a cafe. I'm not just saying that. That's actually a fact because you've done different types of styles here, which is actually crazy. You've
Yeah.
done open mics, like legit, like open mics at like 11 p.m., 12 a.m.,
Yeah.
and then 10 a.m. the DJ set, and then now a podcast at 7 p.m. Like
And we had a Jesus event a couple Saturdays ago. It was like a Jesus movement in Chicago. This girl named Abby from Wheaton, and she was looking for a space to like start like her type of event.
uh-huh.
And honestly, it was amazing. You know, her whole all her guests were very nice, and you know, it was a great experience for them, and I was made me happy to know that they had a good time. And you know, with Solstice, we did the DJ event.
Mm,
Shout out to Barry. He's you know kind of like the brains behind it. And shout out to Twan.
yeah.
If you guys all know Twan, Twan's my guy. You know, he's been with me from day one as well. Went the Gold Coast Market to here. He's DJ'd our first event here on our day of we did our soft opening. And he's the one that you know presented me with the idea, and I was like, let's do it. uh, and that was fun. Like this whole coffee and cafe beats thing that they got going on is fun. And if someone gets the opportunity to attend one of these events, like they should. I mean, it's such a cool vibe. You know what I mean? Like you're not drinking, but you're having a good time drinking coffee.
Organic, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of like it's a healthier way of maybe partying. I mean, you're still drinking caffeine,
Right.
but it's better than alcohol.
Yeah, that I agree. Also too, so in and out. So I'm gonna be a little bit more deep here with the cafe, but slash business.
Or
So it's more of my curiosity, and I feel like a lot of people my age, right? College, we already know it's a scam. If you have money, go ahead, experience, right? Boom, boom, boom. That's easy said and done. But also too, there's been difficulties and bumps in the roads, not just with the cafe, everywhere, right? You're a liar if you say there's not no difficult in or a bump in the road in business. How do you get when you approach a bit or when you want to start a business here in Chicago, like the cafe? What do you have to go through, like the LLC, the loans, right? Because that's something that I feel like a lot of kids my age, my generation, and maybe even 40, 50-year olds don't know how to open a business, don't know how to market. How did you start since you didn't know anything? No school, no education.
man, I worked a lot. I worked a lot my whole life. I mean, I've been working since I was 13, and I've yet to really get a day off. I mean, even when I do travel, it's because there's business involved. So that's what gets me to
Mm,
get out of the city, like because I have to fly out to like LA to go hang out with Kendall Jenner, for example, at
yeah.
one of our parties that she invited me to, you know, and her team. And you know, those few hours that I'm at this event, I make it like a 3-day event, and I go and spend time in LA,
Mm,
then do my thing. You know, same thing with, you know, when I went out for like, when I got invited to Post Malone's show,
mm,
I, you know, wanted to make it into a trip, but that's when I met with Don Lundres, Dre London, who started Don Lundres, and he's Post Malone's manager, and he, you know, it was a business trip that turned into you know pleasure later. So and I got to just enjoy my time. I take my family with me. I have almost a 2-year-old son,
mm.
so he's got to like travel with me a lot since he's been born. And so you know I have not like been able to take like a personal vacation because I work so much to continue to keep building. And you know, my mindset is different than I guess most people's. You know, my mindset is to like work, 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 grind now, sacrifice now as much as you can. So when you get older, you have the resources to be able to I talked to my uncle today, for example. We're opening up a Gold Coast cafe together in the South Loop.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. And we're
Surprise. There you go.
yeah, surprise, boom. And and I was telling him we were supposed to meet somewhere tomorrow, and he was like, "Well, it's Ramadan right now,"
Yeah.
and he's like, "I've earned that I've been." He's like, "I've worked my ass off my whole life, where I've earned my time to sleep in and wake up whenever I want.
Mm.
So let's push it for a later day or time. But like, I'm not waking up this early."
All right.
I was like, "Man, you deserve it. I mean, you've gotten to that point. I haven't gotten to that point."
Mm.
Regardless of like what people might see from the outside, like, oh, success or not success, you know, I'm not there yet. And I'm not there yet where, I can take some time off and vacation. As long as I get to spend time with my family
Mm-hmm.
and I get to see my family,
Mm.
I'm working every day. I don't care if it's 17 hours a day.
Mm.
I'm grinding. And because no one's going to want it more from me than myself. And so that's what I lived by growing up, and that's what helped me start multiple businesses throughout my life. Some failed, some have been successful, and here we are today.
You being an entrepreneur by heart, why do you think a lot of businesses fail? Not even just here in the city in general, because you've lasted already like 3, 4 years almost here in the city of Chicago, in the heart of Chicago. Why do so many businesses fail over maybe 1 year, don't even break even in years?
Um, well, like I said, like I have my struggles, obviously, but my advantage is that I'm an owner operator,
Mm.
so I work, and that's
Hands
the
on.
only advantage that I have.
Mm-hmm.
When times are tough, everyone's going home, and I'm working by myself. And if it means I have to work from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., or when we used to be open till midnight, I have no problem working from 7 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week, as long as I know it's my business.
Mm.
And, and I think that, the times that like I've struggled is when I relied on other people when the business wasn't strong. And I think that that's probably like, I can't speak for everybody in their situation, but, I would think that like, if a business is going to fail, it's because the owner, um, is not putting in the work themselves.
Mm.
And they're relying on other people and depending on other people to do it. And in this industry, you have to be an owner operator. You have to be in there because you have to be able to see your ups and downs and prepare yourselves for the struggles. You can kind of gauge this business and know that it's trends.
Yeah.
In this industry, when one's struggling, everybody's struggling.
Mm.
It's just a trend.
Yeah.
That's how this industry is. So, yeah, I think that like, people are just comfortable and they expect that like anything that they put their hands on will become gold,
Mm.
and they're not willing to put in that work. Where for me, like I said, and I'll say this again, I will outwork anybody. There is not one person that I know from my friend circle to other entrepreneurs that I've met that will work more hours than me, because my drive and my hunger is so big and my vision is so big that it doesn't just rely on one store. Like, I don't care that I own Gold Coast. I do care that I own Gold Coast Cafe, but having 1, 2, 3, 4 stores I'm super indifferent to that. Like, I want to have like 30, 40, 50, 60 locations in
There
the
you
next
go.
few years.
Yes, sir.
Like, that's how I'm successful. That's how I win. That's how my family will have financial freedom and stability.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So if I want that lifestyle and I want that life that I dream about, I mean, I'm young and healthy right now. I might as well take advantage of it because I don't want to struggle anymore. And I don't think anybody wants to struggle, but we're made to believe that, you should only work a certain amount of hours a week. You need time for your work-life balance,
Mm-mm.
and you need all this and feelings and emotions and stuff like that. But then, this is where you find yourself stuck. And you're not understanding why, your life is this way when you see other people's lives a different way. When you look at entrepreneurs and successful ones, especially, I mean, look at like famous billionaires.
Yep.
These guys are working all the time. They're consistently working. They don't take, there's no days off with success. If you want success, there's no such thing as days off, and there's no such thing as a 9 to 5.
Yep. 25/8.
That's literally it. So yeah, it's just working. You have to just be there, grinding it out, making the sacrifices. I don't get to see my family as much as I want to, but I still get to see them,
But you're providing.
and I get to see them.
Yeah.
I get to spend time with them. I get to hang out with my almost 2-year-old son
Mm.
almost every day. Um, so like I'm there, but I'm not there as much as I want to be, but I'm there. Like the presence is felt,
Yeah.
and in the future there'll be enough time to make up that time lost. But now is the time for me to do it. And with the way the economy is, how it's up and down, and this talk of a recession and whatnot. I mean, how do you beat that? You beat that by hustling and grinding and working,
Yes, sir.
not letting it beat you, not giving up to it, not caving into like the thought of like, oh my God, well, it's happening everywhere. To me, I believe that if a recession happens, that's when I'm gonna do my best, and I'm gonna thrive.
Henny, man, we said it was going to keep it nice and short, nice and informational. So I'm going to ask you this one last thing.
Yeah.
For a new customer walking in out the state or even just from the suburbs, what's the 3-course meal you'll recommend them to have here at the Gold Coast Cafe? Drink, entree, and maybe a little snack.
Okay, so my Mexican menu's phenomenal. Like, you'll love it. It's really good. But I will say, our best selling sandwich and our most popular and everybody's go-to, even mine, and like the quickest to make, is our Philly steak.
Okay.
Juicy fire. Like, it is fire, bro. You gotta have that, right? So I would get the Philly steak with, I mean, I love our smoothies, but if someone's a coffee drinker, I would definitely do either the Lotus latte or the Dubai chocolate latte,
Okay.
and a bag of chips. All right, salt and vinegar is my favorite. We use the Dirty Chips brand, and hands down, the #1 dessert ever created is tres leches. And so I would do a Philly steak, tres leches. Me personally, I would do a Philly steak, tres leches, a smoothie, probably like our strawberry banana, maybe mixed with a little bit of mango, which is crack.
A little bit of tequila.
No,
No,
we have that.
haram, no haram in
No
you.
haram here. It's Ramadan. And then our tres leches, and that's like for me like the ultimate like dinner lunch meal here at Gold Coast Cafe.
Oh, dude.
Now, if you're thinking of breakfast, my our everything bagels are fire, but right now my favorite, which I can't have at the moment because it's Ramadan, is our breakfast burritos. And I have a customer. She would come in, and she would have me make her when she used to come in. She still does. Like, she was here recently. She would ask me to make her the breakfast omelet on a wrap. And then eventually I was like, well, you know what? That sounds like a breakfast burrito. I should add that to the menu. And I saw her the other day, and I told her, I was like, hey, like I took your idea and I made it into a burrito, and it's one of my best selling breakfast sandwiches.
Oh boy.
And it turns out that she has her own like food channel and stuff like that. It's just pretty cool. So breakfast burrito, a cup of coffee,
Okay.
one of our lattes, and maybe grab one of our fresh donuts or blueberry muffins from Toronto Bread
Okay.
for breakfast.
I mean, hey, you just gave the whole menu away, man. Now I'm hungry, but dude, I mean, again, like I said, this is part 135 or part I don't know what, and
All
like
I
always,
know
man.
is that Pedro is a legend. In your 20s is thriving, and this summer we are going to spend a lot of time together,
Have to, man.
and we are going to do a lot of content together, and you're going to interview some really fucking cool people. I'm going to make sure of it. And and this is the year that I'm getting back into it. I took all of last year off for personal reasons, and I kind of fell off my game a little bit. But this year, 2025, I'm back on the grind. We're back to restoring what was before 2024. When you think of everything that we've done in 2023 and 2022, which you've been a part of, we're gonna do all of that on steroids. We're gonna bring some amazing people to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do some pretty cool things. We're gonna be backstage with some really cool people. We're gonna interview some really good people. In your 20s will be everywhere this year. Like we're back on our grind, and we're gonna hustle like we've never hustled before.
Sweet.
And I know this, and I know that you know this, and our relationship and our bond has been unbreakable.
100%.
Regardless of if we take some time off from seeing each other, hanging out, or talking about, we both have lives that we had to, tend to and take care of and things like
Course.
that. But you've done some amazing things. I see all your content.
Thank you, bro.
I've even seen, amazing content of you in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
What was that? Where did you go do it?
At the Latin Grammys over there.
You say that again. Where were you?
At the Latin Grammys, bro. Nah.
Pedro's at the Latin Grammys interviewing the biggest Latin artists. When I met this guy, he was just getting started
Yeah.
with like 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And now he's interviewing Latin artists in Miami at the Grammys, at the Latin Grammys. Next year, you'll be at the Oscars, at the red carpet, doing interviews. At the regular Grammys. You're an amazing person. You've been by my side from the beginning. You've done a lot of things for me where I've even, asked and I've talked to you about like, hey, you don't have to go this far and this hard for me. And you have trusted me and believed in me so much as I believe in you, that like I feel like this is the year where we come together now and we mix our energies together and we create something that that has never been created in Chicago before. I mean, there's
100%.
plenty of podcasts. Shout out to everybody that has their own platforms. And in the future, maybe we collaborate with people.
Of course.
But I have big plans for my business. I have big plans for the In Your 20s podcast, which means big plans for you.
Yes, sir.
And we are back on our grind. We will be unstoppable, and we will set the standard. And we are no longer reaching out to people when we get to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
In Your 20s podcast will be a very influential podcast in the city of Chicago.
Yes, sir.
You will be like the big podcast that you could think of. I mean, what's the North Boys podcast?
Full send.
You're gonna be as big as the Full Send podcast based out of Chicago.
Yes, sir.
And then maybe we get those guys to come back out here
That'd be dope.
for the third time or fourth time, and we sit down with them and interview them. You talk to them and really get to hey, look, man, there's nothing out of our reach when we put our brains together and our connections together. We can reach anybody. We have access to everybody. And I think the respect between this industry and the things that we've done in our past with a lot of the collaborators that we've collaborated with, I think that respect is there. And I think that we will reap the rewards of the things that we've done. And I'm excited for you to be a part of that with me. And I just want to, give you your flowers and tell you that I appreciate you. You've been killing it. You've maintained and you've been consistent. And you've been fucking unstoppable, bro.
Appreciate that.
And very proud of you. I know we've come a long way. But the future is very bright. And there's a lot of success coming our way. And we might turn this into a documentary at some point, and you'll be able to document this and have this in your portfolio. And yeah, bro, I mean, thank you for being by my side. Thank you for allowing me to get on your platform again. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you've done. I can't thank you enough. Yeah, man. I mean, this is your year. Last year was a rough year for me. With taking time off for personal reasons, but you kept it going. You kept on grinding, and we're gonna make up for all the things all the missed opportunities from last year. We're gonna make up for it times two.
Mentality's there, the drive's there, and the work ethic is there, man. Goals are always gonna be reached. That's why the vision's there, right?
Yeah, let's fucking go, bro.
I'm fucking hungry, bro. Let's do it.
Let's get it. Come on, appreciate you, man.
Thank you, brother.